All right, match number 2. Eric Froelich is up
Oh,
a
wow.
match. These are the B decks, and there is the Martello Shops deck that Eric Froelich has had great success with. He 3-0'd with that deck in the middle trimester. He crushed me with it in the quarterfinals. Luis, however, is on Oath, which should actually be a
Ooh.
decent matchup against Shops, right?
If I'm going to take any blue deck against Workshop, it's probably going to be Oath. It looks like, I mean, Oath of Druids is a 2 mana card, and if you resolve that, you needn't resolve anything else for the rest of the game. Now, LSV doesn't have that, but he has a really solid hand. It
Yeah.
looks like he can run out a cantrip on the first turn, and heck, if he finds a Black Lotus,
Oh, Ifro loaded the wrong deck?
no,
Sounds
that's
like
this
Ifro
where.
loaded the wrong copy of his deck.
Yep. We're getting word that that was the wrong deck out of Evo, which is it is the right deck. Okay, good, good, good. Because I was hoping to see how this matchup played out, so I'm glad we'll get a chance to.
Yeah, no,
So
it's definitely supposed to be Shops versus Oath. So Luis has
that's
kept that draw. It's got a Grizzlebrand, which,
a great draw.
yeah,
So if LSV finds a Black Lotus, then see this giant demon monster arriving now. And if he gets a couple land, then we'll see him arriving in a few turns.
well, his
Um,
Ponder sees Force of Will. Oh, wow,
well,
Mana Crypt. Okay, so he's
that's a
set up for
powerful
next.
spell. So let's see. So if Ifro tries to lead with a sphere, the sphere gets forced, and then here comes Gristlebrand. If Now what's interesting is that if Ifro draws something like a duplicate, then he can put that in and just duplicate the demon.
Now,
So
these guys
remember
don't
that
actually know what they are playing against yet, right? Luis doesn't realize he's up against Shops.
and
Still, I don't know, maybe he suspects it now. That Wasteland, wow, that Trip Mine was
wow,
pretty bad for Luis.
that was the worst case scenario. Ifro had the one on strip mine and used it rather than running something out.
Yeah, Luis probably felt okay with a basic island.
Absolutely.
And
But,
now here Eric goes, wow, he found Mishra's Workshop with his draw phase, drops his Soul Ring,
yep.
down
And here's
comes
the
Sphere of
sphere.
Resistance, which Luis has to
LSV has to force this. This is remember that LSV can still draw a land and have Gristlebrand arrive. So let's see what this names.
what do you name if you're Eric? In the
I
dark. Don't even
mean,
really know what deck you're playing against yet.
if you, I don't know. It might be Black Lotus then.
Yeah, you probably name Lotus, Mox Sapphire, or something like that.
If he names Mana Crypt or Gristlebrand,
Could
hmm?
name Dak Faden.
You could name Dak Faden. You couldn't name
Luis
Dak Faden.
Luis is on record as being in love with Dak Faden.
So what's really, really interesting here is that it might not work out. So if LSV actually does draw a
What did
land
you
and
name?
play show and tell, if he doesn't win on this very turn, he'll probably he might well lose to this monster arriving because Lodestone Golem or not Lodestone Golem, called off the Forge Master gets any card out of Ifro's deck, which will probably include a duplicate. And
Yeah, but still,
this
if you're
one's
Eric,
probably
though,
named Mana Crypt.
yeah, I think if I'm Eric, I'm not going to play Codolphin Forge Master. I don't actually really know what my opponent's even up to. I know they played a Mana Crypt, so I'm going to Phyrexian Revoker Mana Crypt.
Yes.
Oh,
You
you
know
can.
that
Wow,
LSV has a
and
Mana
he's got the
Crypt.
mana to do that
You
and a
want to
Forge Master.
revoke that.
Yeah, at this point, even the land for show and tell doesn't seem good enough.
No, I don't think it will be. There's the land for show and tell. So now I guess LSV doesn't want to reveal what he's playing, so he
Precisely.
concedes rather than run that out there because the Koldath the Forge Master, um, Koldath the Forge Master is a really powerful card in the Workshop deck. A lot of the cards in the Workshop deck try to leverage its absurd mana advantage over the opponent. Forge Master is different. It's not a lock piece. It's not a Trinisphere or a Smokestack or anything like that. But if you untap with it, it sort of wins you the game because you get your choice of all sorts of crazy things that live inside the workshop deck. Could be a duplicate, could be a Trinisphere, could be a worm coil engine, all sorts of things. But most of the time, there'll be something to win the game.
Wow. So this matchup, you said you like the Oath side of it.
Insofar as I like any blue deck against workshops, yes.
Well, what do you like more against workshops than an Oath deck?
Um, I think workshops are really, really, really good right now.
Looks like
I said
Luis's
last
side.
season that I think that workshops the best deck in the format, and you know, I think workshops it it's extremely powerful. Um, you don't get brainstorm or even preordain to smooth out your draws, but you do get four lands that tap for 3 mana, plus an academy that taps for sometimes a lot more than that.
All right. Well, Luis has got his trademark repeals. None of the Ingot Chewers and Ancient Grudges that I can see in his sideboard, but
No, maybe
I
he'll
would,
oath those up though.
would think that's a reasonable draw. Eric has
Oh, there's
Blightsteel
an eight.
Colossus, which is not something he actually wants in his draw. He wants to be able to Forge Master that out. But
Right.
Black Lotus is always a good thing to see.
So he has four, five. He's halfway to casting that guy on the first turn.
I don't think he's going to get there. Wow. So Luis, not content with the handful of cantrips, decides to mulligan, winds up with an even worse draw that at least does have an Oath of Druids in it.
If he draws, I guess you could draw a Forbidden Orchard.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Ephro, has Ephro drawn yet? It looks like. Hmm? Oh,
Oh
wow.
boy, Lodestone Golem is
The
the
camera pans away to reveal Lodestone Golem. Now, Ephro doesn't even have the thought that LSV might be on Oath because we haven't seen any of those cards. But
true.
either way, having this Golem arrive on the very first turn, this card is a lock piece and a clock. Now, unfortunately, Ephro has to use his Black Lotus to cast this, which takes him further away from casting Blightsteel. But
It's fine. Lodestone's
on
gonna
the bright
kill.
side, it means that rather than Oath arriving this turn, Oath will arrive next turn if LSV draws another land. But oh, there's Mishra's Workshop, the namesake card of the deck. That
Tango Wire here is probably going to ice the game for Eric.
yeah,
Luis
yeah,
is now tapping all of his permanents. It's going to be hard to even draw enough permanents to tap them all next turn.
yeah. The Workshop decks are really powerful. Um, I played in a I played in a daily, a vintage daily. I don't have any wastelands on here, so I played Ghost Quarters, and I threw one of the daily with Ghost Quarter shops. Um,
Interestingly, Eric still doesn't really know what Luis's deck is. Right? If we get into a match 4 or a match 5 scenario, Eric is actually going to be making decisions without even having full knowledge of what Luis's decks are. Like I feel
that's
like Eric
true. That's true.
Luis has a decent matchup here for the shops deck. His draws were pretty bad. He had a potential turn 2 show and tell Grizzlebrand with force backup, but
Right.
Strip Mine screwed him up in the first game. Here, he didn't want to keep lands and cantrips against workshops, so he winds up mulliganing into a bad draw. But that I think that deck is way better in the matchup than it looks in those couple of games.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I think the card Oath of Druid just gives you so much ability to throw out an early threat, and you know, the Delver deck can get down Eternal and Delver against workshops, and I've had plenty of Delvers go all the way, and Delver is at best a 3/2 flyer. Oath of
All right.
Druid
Well,
becomes a 7/7 flyer.
but flurry of action. But where we are right now is that Eric Froelich is up 2 games to 0. We've got 2 matches already in the books. I'm going to have to say thank you to you, Rich. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to swap in last year's champ to do coverage for the home stretch of this match. So stay tuned. We will be right back with more semifinal action right after this.